Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. It is September 28th, a Monday, and this episode is brought to you by my incredible sponsor, Earthquaker Devices. They've been a sponsor for almost 2 years now. They are badass. Love them. If you play guitar, bass, funk, jazz, soul, heavy metal, any kind of music style or instrument, you're going to need a stomp box, a foot pedal. Earthquaker Devices makes the best pedals on the planet. Handmade in Akron, Ohio. You love it, don't you? You need to sound like rock gods. Get yourself a delay, or maybe some reverb. Get a foot pedal, overdrive, so you can sound all metal. You know, like overdrive. They also got some badass shirts. They got one with the skull octopus on it. Skull octopus? Hit them up, man. Also, tell them that you heard this ad on Let There Be Talk, and they'll give you a good deal. Get yourself some modulation, compression, octaves, all that stuff. Does it sound weird to you? That's because you don't play an instrument. Get one anyway and put it around your house. It looks cool, like a painting or something, some art around your house. Support them. They're supporting the show. Thank you, Earthquaker Devices. All right, let's get into the episode. A fantastic guest today, a kind of a new friend who I met at the Jackie Green concert. Everyone knows him. If you watch Conan O'Brien, he is the leader of the Basic Cable Band. Jimmy Vivino, he is awesome, man. This guy knows music like you cannot believe. We talked for almost 2 hours, and we could have easily gone 4 or 5 hours. I mean, it was a straight up like tennis match, just back and forth. What a great dude. Real deal. He's played with some of the biggest and the coolest people ever. Played with Levon Helms from the band. Are you kidding me? Who plays with Levon Helms from the band? You know? He also played with Fagan from fucking Steely Dan. I mean, come on. He's been with Conan since 1993. What a great job, man. You play guitar for a living, and you're on one of the coolest TV shows there is. So, double home run. I'm going to get him on here before I do. Just a few rundowns of what's going on with me. I'm up and moving around. I'm feeling way better. Everything's good. The cuts are all healed up. Ribs are still fucked. That's it. I wake up in the morning, some pretty serious rib cage brutality. But other than that, I shake it off and I hit the stage. I was at La Jolla all weekend. It felt fantastic to be at the La Jolla Comedy Store back on stage. I was headlining, did 4 shows. If you were at that show, thank you so much for coming out. What an amazing audience. All weekend. Everyone was great. And Lucas Hurl, my boys, and BB Combs, Brenton Biddle Combs, they opened and featured the show, and it was just fantastic. Met a lot of Delraysers that came out. That was cool. A lot of people. My boy Greg from the Harley dealer down there. What's the name of that dealer? Shit. I forget the name of it. I better look it up real quick because they're so cool. El Cajon Harley. El Cajon, those guys, man. A whole crew from that dealer came out. Felt great. You know, it was really cool just to have a lot of good friends come out to the shows. If you want to see me this week, I am going to be home finally for a weekend here in Los Angeles. I will be Friday night. Let's see what I'm doing. Friday, if you live in Hollywood, I'll be at the Laugh Factory at midnight. Also, Saturday, I'm doing a very cool show. If you live out kind of in the Thousand Oaks area, or if you don't, take a trip out to the Canyon Club. I'm out there with Spicer and Brian Callen. Canyon Club is really cool. It's like some big rich guy's massive living room or something. Come out and see that 8 p.m. Canyon Club. Me, Brian Callen, and Spicer. That's going to be a good time. And, tonight I'm going to see AC/DC, so I'm pretty fucking glad to be alive. It's good to be live. I thank everyone for all your emails again. Like I said, I'm getting better. I'm up and running, and it feels good. Also, make sure you go to Mark Maron's Twitter or his Instagram and wish him a happy birthday. His birthday was yesterday, and just bombard him with some love, will you? Also, if you're out there out and about, Bill Burr is on tour. Go see Bill. He's out and about. I don't know where he's at, but look it up. I know he's on tour. And I guess that's about it. Short intro today. I'm just glad to share this episode with you. It's so fucking good. Okay, here we go. Light the candles. All right, here we are. Another episode of Let There Be Talk. Fantastic guest. Introduce yourself.
Jimmy Vivino, and this is so fucking ghetto. It's great.
No way. This is pro, dude.
No, dude.
Yeah.
Man, this is like home.
No.
I feel like fucking Wayne's World here.
Well, if I bring people to the studio...
fuck the studio.
Yeah, I always feel like they don't give me the good shit at the studio.
Yeah. Hey, can we say fuck?
Anything you want, brother. Yeah, fuck yeah.
I wouldn't see all these Led Zeppelin pictures and shit, man. And people, you have no idea. It's like a museum, man.
Yeah, it's a rock
really
shop.
Cool shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a rock and roll comedian, I guess.
Yeah, man. Well, I played rock for 25 years. I did music and had records out and stuff.
Yeah.
And then got smart and got out.
Well, it's a two-way street, really. A lot of my comic friends are musicians, too, and really good ones.
Yeah.
Like that. Better than guys like me trying to go and stand up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the hardest job.
It really is.
And playing by yourself, too. Playing with yourself is easy, but playing by yourself is fucking hard, man.
You know what's funny is the last tour I did was with the Wallflowers, and I did solo acoustic for 10 months. And you're right, it's so nerve-wracking. But somewhere along the way on the tour, I learned... Oh, fuck, man. I was kind of turning it into one of those VH1 storytellers.
Well, yeah.
And then I started realizing in the back of my head, I'm going to get ready for comedy here.
Yeah, but at least you have a guitar between you and the audience.
Yeah.
It's like a safety net or a pillow.
It really is.
Me fucking grabbing. But, the best I learned from guys like Dion DiMucci. He used to come out with just his guitar. And Phoebe Snow and Al Cooper. And they all, people that I worked with that were storytellers. With Al, it got to the point where people would say, play a song! Because he's telling these great stories from, 1956 up until, through the 60s and 70s. And it's like an education. And he's funny, too. So,
oh, man.
He introduced me to Robert Schimmel. They were friends. And,
and
Alan Havey. All these guys used to open up for us.
Wow.
These comedians. It was
Al
unbelievable.
Cooper, that Super Sessions record could be one of the greatest records ever made.
Yeah, and it was just the idea was to jam, which was it wasn't done before. He went to Columbia and said, "We're just going to jam."
Yeah,
and they said yes, and they made that record.
I really feel like that's a certain era in a music freak's life where it's this kind of rite of passage. Someone turns you on to it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, man. Yeah. You feel like you're some music guru, the next level up. You're like, have you heard this? Super Sessions?
I learned to play from that record. Both organ and guitar, because we had this old hi-fi, and one side worked. And you could switch which side you wanted to hear, with a wire. So Bloomfield was on one side and Cooper was on the other.
Right.
So I would practice my organ with the Bloomfield side turned on, and I practiced my guitar with Al's side turned on. I mean, it was split.
It was panned like that,
yes,
huh?
panned left, right, man.
Wow, I never noticed it.
Drums and bass in the middle.
I just got like a $50 copy of it, original master.
Yeah.
And you put that on, and it's just like, oh my god!
Yeah, it's the tone. The tone of the whole record is great. Harvey ended up being a friend. And that record was really a linchpin in my deciding to be in music.
That's
that
amazing.
And the Highway 61 record.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's crazy because you end up playing with Al Cooper.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? I meet a lot of people, and they're like, oh, this guy was my...
But that's the story of my life, looking over the fence and saying, pick me.
Yeah.
Pick me. And not getting in the game, being 11 or 12. And 13, going to the Fillmore, there was no way I was going to play with these guys who were as old as 19 and 20.
Yeah.
All these guys were now 7
Fillmore
years
East.
doesn't mean anything.
Fillmore East.
Fillmore East. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Never went to the Fillmore West.
Now let's get into this. We met at Jackie Green.
Yeah.
Of course, you play guitar in Conan's late night band, the Basic Cable Band.
22 years now.
Unfucking believable.
Yeah.
And what I really enjoyed was here I was at the Troubadour watching Jackie Green, and you come in, we meet, a fantastic, cool guy. And then you go on stage and you proceed to just crush it. You played B3.
Yeah.
You played some lead guitar.
Yeah,
some piano.
Well, Jackie and I are kindred spirits. He's like my son almost.
Yeah.
He's so young, you know. But well, I told the story, I think, somewhere, maybe at the gig, that Jackie called me when they were coming on the Conan show way back in New York. And said, "Do you play banjo?" And I said, "Yeah, man." And I hung up the phone and said, "I got to get a fucking banjo." So I figured I could do it. I learned that from Tommy Tedesco. He said, "Take the gig, then figure out how to do it."
Yeah.
Because the guy asking you doesn't do it.
Yeah.
So you can figure it out. You know, you play balalaika, sure. Go buy a balalaika, stick 3 guitar strings on it, and it sounds like a balalaika.
I think you can do that with everything but pedal steel. You'd
No,
be
you
fucked.
cannot make believe with pedal steel.
You can't, dude.
No, you can't. No, that is another thing, man. That's like, you know, that's like driving a Ferrari or something.
It's unbelievable.
You got to have everything going at once. you know?
Yeah, and I mean, and pedal steel is, of course, you hear it and it's.
Oh, it sounds great though, but you have to be in tune with it.
Yeah, and you got to know how the fuck to do it, and not just be cliche, you know.
So Jackie, you know, back to Jackie. He was, and then I ran into him after that. He was playing with, I guess, with Phil and friends.
Phil, yeah.
And I was playing with Levon, and we were opening up for them.
Unbelievable.
So Helm, you know, was like, "Oh, Jimmy V, I'm going to go up and jam with them. Come up with me." So we went up, and me and Jackie were switching on guitar and piano and organ, you know. So then we knew that we kind of did the same thing. So whenever he comes around, I try to hang out. And I was surprised. You know, I went to the Grammy Museum to see his his
the night
before. And then he said, "Yeah, I didn't know because I don't. When I used to get the L.A. Weekly or the Village Voice, I would know what's going on, but I don't know where the fuck to look for anything anymore."
Yeah, right. It's just
you
kind
go
of
online. It's like it's a chore to find out where music is.
Yeah, you know what I do is I sign up for alerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you can put in like kind of stuff you're into, and then it kind of sends it to you like, Jackie Green's playing the Troubadour.
That's cool. I have to check into that because it sucks to look up.
You're right, man, and it's just kind of. I always hear about shit the next day now because you're busy, man.
Well,
you know?
they list all the bullshit first that you don't want to see.
Yeah,
and you got to really go down and look. Where's this happening in Echo Park, or where the fuck is that happening? You know, but you can't find it right away where it used to jump out of an ad.
Yeah, Twitter is great for this, though. Twitter, I know you're just getting on Twitter now.
I watched and see when people are saying. That's how I got hooked up with Devin Allman and some other people that were coming to town.
Yeah.
I find that out. Or the Mint, usually the music's good there any night.
Yeah. Now, how do you get into guitar? You grew up in Jersey, right?
Yeah,
East Coast guy.
Yeah, I was a trumpet player. My
Wow.
father was a trumpet player. I've told this story before, but my parents, my father was an immigrant from Italy, and they were all carpenters.
Wow.
You know, and it was him and his brother-in-law. My grandfather, the 4 of them, had a construction company. And they were building houses up and down the Jersey Shore. You know,
wow. Just working.
You know, and to have 3 sons like my father did, and have like, you know, Floyd and Jerry and me all go into show business, you know.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And he let us.
Wow,
he could have had
right?
a construction empire, you know. He could have just smacked us in the head and said, which was standard practice in those days, kids.
Yeah,
we didn't think of anything. My father went for his fork, and I would flinch, you know. But that's the way it was.
It's old school dad.
It's old school Irish and Italian, you know. And
never said they loved you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
no. You knew it though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because after my father would beat us up, he'd come and apologize later. So.
You know why I beat your ass,
You
right?
know why, right?
We're cool now,
Well,
right?
Right. I didn't mean it, you know. He never hurt us though. And growing up, there had to be a certain amount of fear for respect, along to the police and teachers and parents, and you didn't want to get in trouble. Man,
yeah,
you know.
it's true. Even when I was growing up,
back. Yeah,
I didn't want to bum my mom out either.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, like you know. Like I would do drugs and stuff, but boy, would I hide it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I just feel weird
Well, I
about it.
remember my father would say to me, "What are you on, son?" Don't think you haven't tried anything that I didn't try. And I was like, acid in 1940s?
Yeah.
Dad, I didn't have it, Dad. But I'm thinking that. I'm not saying it.
absolutely.
I'm just thinking
Yeah.
that, you know, I'm coming down.
Yeah.
Nice, I'm coming down. I'm having a, you know, look in the refrigerator, find some meatballs, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But so he let us all be in show business, you know. But if we were going to do that, we had to have, I was like 9. We started a dance team. We had to sing, dance, play instruments. We, you know, went to Tony Grant's Cavalcade of Stars in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Dance at the World's Fair in 1964 in the Jersey Pavilion. With
Wow.
we were kind of like the Osmonds, you know.
What kind of dancing?
Oh, it was jazz and tap.
Tap
you know?
dance, yeah,
tap
wow.
dancing and playing music at the same time, you know.
Wow.
And
What was-
singing and doing Marx Brothers bits, you know.
Now, really, what is it? Is it because I know you play in a Beatles cover band? Was it the Beatles that hit you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Did you
You know,
see the Ed Sullivan?
Yeah, I did, and I remember having to sit through Lawrence Welk first.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
with all the you know, all the grandmothers and gumadas and gumpadas, everybody, the aunts and uncles, and you know, and they're like, oh, we're watching Lawrence Welk and how nice, and we were playing trumpets and clarinets and accordion, you know,
Yeah.
the 3 of us. So that was like the music, and then this thing happened, you know,
Did you know it was going to happen?
I didn't know. We watched Ed Sullivan no matter what.
Right.
It was law. It was religion. It was part of every Sunday.
Yeah.
We didn't say, oh, that's on. We're not going to watch it. Same with Bonanza. You watched it.
Yep.
It was on. You watched it.
I remember Lawrence Welk because I would spend Sundays at my grandmother and grandfather's house, and they'd watch that shit. Man, was it fucking dry,
yeah,
huh?
but those guys were like master musicians.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there was some incredible technicians going on there.
Yeah,
you know? But
absolutely.
it was totally, you know, for polkas and
It was old
you know,
world, right?
It was old world, yeah. But that was the line where the line was drawn. You know, when the Beatles came on,
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh my God, look how funny they look, and
Right.
look how funny they sound." And,
So you're on the couch, and
I'm
then he
sitting on the
says,
floor. There's no
Yeah.
room on the couch,
And then he
the
says-
kids are on the floor.
He's like, ladies and gentlemen,
Beatles.
Beatles. And you're like, oh, what's
People are
this?
Screaming and
Right.
and you know, and the funny thing is, I had an aunt that was a little older, and you know, she was a big Dion and Frankie Valli fan and
Yep.
Elvis fan. You know,
Yeah,
so I
heard
heard a lot of great music.
50s
most
music.
of it Italian greased back hair music. You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
doo-wop music.
Like, what's that Broadway show called where it's all the 50s guys?
Well, I mean, there was
There's a big one. It's been going on forever.
there was quite a few besides Grease, which is a fake one.
Yeah, not Grease, but the one that goes on now. It's like about the Jersey
No,
singer.
there's a Jersey Boy.
Yeah, that's it. Jersey Boys.
It's
That's
about
it.
Frankie Valli and the Four
That's it.
Seasons.
There you go.
Of course, and I just digress because we get all over the map because me and my brother played with all those guys.
Wow.
We know all those guys.
Wow. Now, what's your brother play?
My brother's saxophone player. And my
Saxophone.
other brother Floyd is a piano player and had his own, you know, comedy show on TV in New Jersey, the Uncle Floyd Show. And it was like a big cult thing in the 70s and 80s, and he had a kiddie show for adults, for people getting stoned, you know.
Wow.
And you know, all the punks came on, the Ramones, Bowie.
No shit.
Everybody came on that show. You know, Cyndi Lauper at the time. I remember Marshall Crenshaw, the Ramones, the Smithereens.
Smithereens.
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
them?
yeah, Pat, you
Blood
know.
and Roses.
Yeah, Pat Denizio. They owned garbage trucks in Newark. You know.
No
Yeah.
shit.
So we knew. Hey, Pat has the greatest saying. Hey, Jimmy, who's better than us? Yeah, because we came out of that Jersey thing. You know.
Wait, so your brother has this variety,
variety
show. And was
kiddie
it on
show.
once a week?
It was on every night. You know?
Every night?
Yeah, the Uncle Floyd Show. You could look it up.
And then he got fucking crazy great bands on there?
Yeah, yeah.
And did you go down and watch him film this shit?
Oh, all the time. I met a lot of people I'm still in touch with today through that.
That's insane to
So,
think about that because
You
you're
could
on
do that, though.
You're on Conan, though. I mean, you've really been kind of on TV sets
Yeah.
all your life.
Yeah, and then we went to NBC after the Tom Snyder show went down, before Letterman went on.
Yeah.
For like a half a season, Uncle Floyd was on.
No
They
shit.
put it up there, and you know what's funny is that my brother could go and buy time. You know, he could go to the pet store and say, "Give me $100, I'll put you on the air this week."
Wow.
And he'd go to 20 places, get himself, you know, I don't know, 20 grand or something together.
Yeah.
Produce the show for whatever. It costs $2,000 maybe.
Yeah.
Pay his people, pay the cameraman, rent everything, put the show on, make a nice profit. But
Yeah.
then go out as his own ad agency.
Wow.
And just rent time on cable when it was really young.
Kind of like early, like podcasting right now.
Well, sure, it is like podcasting
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Because that's where the real shit comes out.
You're so right,
and
man.
the punks realized it because they were so sick of the corporate world anyway.
Yeah.
And all the network shit. They said, look at this thing we found.
Wow.
And then, John Lennon would sit on his couch up in the Dakota and watch the Uncle Floyd show, and Bowie would watch it, and all these guys wanted to come on. They would lip sync.
Did Lennon go on it?
No.
Yeah, right.
He wasn't
they would
coming
lip
out.
sync.
He was baking bread back then.
Yeah, they lip sync, kind of like American Bandstand.
It all happened. It was so weird because at that time, we'd go out and I would buy Ramones records and stuff, and I would think, wow, these guys must be doing great. Man, they were struggling.
Yeah, right.
To make it, and they were a great band.
Yeah, I met them on I think around 81 or whatever, and they had a party at their hotel, and they were all staying in the same room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, you guys have shitloads of records out.
Well, they're like Queens guys. No, but safety in numbers too. Because they were harassed.
Oh,
you
hell
gotta
yeah.
realize how they were harassing those, and they were rock and rollers. They were not punks. They weren't.
They were rock and roll.
We had Chrissy Hines said the other day, she was on the show,
Oh.
punk lasted 6 months.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the guitar players
Said,
decided
"Fuck
they
that."
want to learn how to play.
Yeah, right? They're
And
like,
then it
hey,
was
fuck
over.
this.
In 6 months it was over.
The three chords got boring.
They turned into 4 chords.
Yeah.
And leads.
Yeah.
Guitar started,
Yeah.
So I mean, in all this, we grew up in the '60s, in the mid to late '60s, the explosion between '64 and '70. In those 6 years, nothing can happen for 6 years now. It just sits here dormant. Music.
Yeah.
In those 6 years, we got 6 or 7 years. We got all the Beatle records.
Yep.
Right, all of them. I mean,
all of them.
63 to 70, the beginning of 70.
Crazy.
That's like a 7-year period.
Yep.
That entire output. And not to mention the way the Stones, changed. Everything changed. The Stones brought us the blues, the Yardbirds, Zeppelin. That all happened in a couple of years.
The Who.
The
Cream.
Creams, all of that stuff.
It's insane. Hendrix.
And then they were playing 3 at a time on a bill to Fillmore for $3.50
Yeah,
a go.
yeah.
So we did, and our older brothers and their older brothers.
Did you ever meet Bill Graham?
Yes, I did.
Me too.
I was working with Laura Nero, and we played the Fillmore. This was in the late 80s, I guess. We played the Fillmore up in San Francisco.
Yeah, great one.
And Bill was there, and she said to me, watch, he's just going to pace back and forth through the whole show.
Yeah.
And he took me up in the office where all his posters were and everything, and I just loved him. He was
Oh, man, he's the reason I'm
brilliant.
alive.
Yeah.
Because without those shows and stuff, I probably would have I know I would have went into some darkness. You know what I mean? He was a complete visionary. Have you seen the thing at the museum? At the screwball?
It's at the screwball.
Yeah. Man, I was in there. I had to go alone because I didn't want anybody to rush me. I could look at photos for hours.
Yeah.
Because I went to most of those shows, and not the early 60s one, but, once I'm up and running, and I just stare at them like, wow.
Well, when you go to enough of them, you start remembering shows you didn't go to.
Yeah, isn't that
No,
weird?
you really do, because we exchange this,
Yeah.
and it becomes part of our history.
Yeah.
And then it becomes real to us. Even the things we didn't do become so real because it was such a magical time, man. It was weird.
It really was,
and
right?
with a little extra help, we had a great time. So all of that was happening, and I was playing trumpet, man. I said, man, I got to start. I got myself a Farfisa organ and started playing organ.
Oh, yeah.
When I was like probably 12 or something.
Why was that? The Doors, or you just...
The Doors, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. It was the Doors. It was Steve Winwood, and it was Felix Cavalieri with the Rascals.
Oh, yeah,
Those were the things. Ray Manzarek was God, and then I, of course, digging everyone in that band. That was probably when I was, starting bands, the most important band.
Yeah.
Because their stuff was accessible in a way you could play it.
I love the clavinet.
Nobody could really sing it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That clavinet has got to be the best sound.
Well, that was Stevie Wonder coming with that thing.
That thing is so great. It's just like bum 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, bum. What a sound!
It's a guitar for Stevie, And when that happened, that was like 70. That started happening.
Yeah.
Stevie on the clavinet.
Yeah.
When Talking Book came out, my friends brought it down. We were listening to, a lot of different music, and then that came.
Yeah.
And that was a
Yeah.
mind blower.
Yeah.
And then he opened for the Stones.
That was crazy on the
was
72
crazy.
tour or whatever, or 75
so growing
or
up
whatever.
in that time, and then I switched to guitar when I was like 22, 23.
What makes you switch to guitar?
Carrying the fucking B3 in a
Yeah,
van,
right?
which my brother owned, and he was a sax player. He used to yell at me, "How come I have the van?
Yeah.
You got 2 Leslies and a B3 and a Fender Rhodes and a clavinet and an ARP synthesizer, and I got one saxophone I'm playing on the gig."
Were you going? Were you going for like some of that, like Faces, or was it more Deep Purple? Were you getting into the kind of distorted B3?
Well, it was distorted because the tubes were old, but
Right, yeah.
as loud as we
Yeah.
could play it. Deep Purple gets. We can go into. We could talk about me a bit more, and then I want to get into some of this shit.
You got it.
Because, then I switched to guitar, and I've started hiding in a show band,
Yeah.
And a show band was something that was like a Martin and Lewis.
Yeah.
It had a comedian, Bobby DeAndre, and a singer, Frankie Sorrell, and then you had a 4-piece band behind them.
Yeah.
And you played all the Goomba joints in New Jersey.
Yeah.
All of them.
And just making money.
All of them. All the leisure suits and people cheating on their wives.
Yeah.
And making money and playing your guitar every day.
Some mob shit
Yeah.
around there? You
Oh,
seen that?
I'm not saying. But then, it could still be alive. But like the week before,
Yeah.
Vincent and Pesci would be in before us.
Wow.
Joe was the guitar player.
Yeah.
A great guitar player. Funny guy.
Joe Pesci, man.
Yeah, and Frankie Vincent, who he kills in every movie, was his buddy. And
Yeah.
you've seen Frankie. He's
Yeah.
Billy Bat. He's the guy they stab in the back of the trunk. Mom,
Oh,
give me
yeah.
a knife. And
Yeah.
the foot, what do you call it? We got caught in the grill.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
that, and also in Raging Bull, he smacks his head in a car door.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah, he just like destroys him.
That's a top 3
That's his
film of
best
all
friend.
time for me.
That's
you know?
his best friend.
That's great, right?
Yeah.
I read it's a great story on Pesci where he fucking gives up. He's just done, and he's a waiter in some restaurant, and Scorsese sees him and says like, "Hey, I saw you in something, man. What are you doing now?" And he's like, I fucking quit."
Yeah, he's
so,
playing guitar.
I got something for you, and it's fucking Raging Bull. And then that Vicky
That's
chick
what
that
did
played
it.
Vicky never
Yeah.
did any film.
Well, she opened a Mulberry Street Pizza, though.
Wow.
Yeah. But
So
you know
what's your
what?
first
So-
guitar?
So those guys were guitar players and singers, too. And Joey also was the band boy for the Four Seasons, and that's documented. Joe Pesci was their roadie pretty
Wow.
much when he was a kid. My first guitar, I got was sitting in the basement. It's my uncle's Harmony.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like the semi-hollow body.
Just like a semi-hollow body F-hole, cheap Harmony.
Kind of like did it have a single cutaway?
No cutaway at all.
Oh,
just
wow.
2 F-holes. It had that fake painted on.
Oh yeah, tiger stripes.
Tiger
Yeah,
stripes
I remember
that looked
those.
like curtains more than it looked like anything.
My buddy had one of those. You
Harmony,
know?
Harmony. I don't know what it was called, but it was great.
It's just like Silvertone and all those.
Silvertones, Harmony, Stellas, all of them.
Yeah.
And that was in the basement, and I used to mess around with that, and I remember learning bass lines on it.
Yep.
I'm not knowing what notes I was playing even, but digging the feel of it in my hands. you
Yeah.
know? And then messing around with some tunings, and I could play a couple cowboy chords, but never really serious. So I had that for a long time. I think I may still have it, in fact.
Wow.
And my uncle left it, when he was like moving out or something. He left it some shit in the basement, including that guitar.
Wow.
And I've always went down in the basement was my place where that fucked up stereo was that only one side worked on.
Yep.
And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the guitar was down there, trumpet. There was, I had my Hohner pianette down there and
Yeah.
my Farfisa, and I just practiced and practiced and practiced.
Do you remember the amp you had?
Yeah, a Hilgen. It was made in New Jersey, yeah.
A Hilgen.
Hilgen.
Wow.
Somebody out there knows what it is.
Wow.
One day though, with the poor Hilgen, it was a 212 cabinet and a head.
Yeah.
And it was probably about 30 watts. One day the fuse blew, so we took a piece of aluminum foil.
that old one and tried to-
stuck
yeah.
it in there.
Ah.
And boy, it sounded great for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, and then just
that thick white smoke came
Yeah,
out of it.
yeah.
It turned yellow. And that was the end of the Hilgen, I must say. We burned to the ground, man.
You think it was hand wired, man, back then? Probably, right?
Yeah, it was a great point-to-point.
Point-to-point solder, yeah.
Just like those Silvertones.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I got one of those from a friend. One
Wow.
of those Silvertones, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, we always had stuff. We borrowed stuff. We would say, hey, we'd call the guy down the street. Are you doing anything? Can I borrow your Trainer amp, or can we borrow the PA?
Trainer, that's a great
The Trainer
amp.
was a great
My buddy
amp.
rolled it for bass rig for years.
Those Trainer YBA ones you can turn into little Marshalls with
It's
the right
crazy,
mod.
right?
Yeah. Anyway, so rock and roll school was it, man. I never, and I did okay in school and all that, but I just wanted to play music.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew from when I was 9, like you say, that I just, and my father made me work some construction just so I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I worked construction
like practice.
too.
You want to bust your ass out here, or
Yeah.
you want to practice your instrument and get a job, So as soon as I finished high school, me and my brother started a band and worked 7 nights a week.
Wow.
All up and down the Jersey coast. I mean, there was work then.
Yeah.
So we learned everything just working,
And what are you playing? 50s covers?
Oh, we're playing stuff from the 60s, of course.
Yeah.
Some 50s. We're backing up the Five Satins and Jackie Wilson and all these people coming into, we used to sit at this lounge for like 6 months at a time up in Pequannock, New Jersey. Way up there towards Valley, towards the Playboy Club in Great Gorge.
Yeah.
And they would bring in Chubby Checker, they would bring in Jackie Wilson, bring in the Platters.
So you were the
Five
backup
Satins.
band.
So we'd back up all these guys.
Yeah, like I saw Chuck Berry, and he just pulled up in a car, and there was a band they hired.
Yeah.
And I guess the other guy.
Chuck, I played with him many times, and the one thing I do know is I wake up every day and forgive Chuck Berry.
Oh yeah, was he yell at you?
The music says it doesn't matter. Hey, you can meet somebody on their worst day and form the wrong opinion of them.
Yeah,
And I'm still waiting for that good day from Chuck.
I saw him yelling at the band. Too fucking fast.
I know.
Too
You know
slow.
what though? He went through hell, and he's still one of the greatest songwriters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It goes directly from him to Dylan, if you think about it.
Yeah.
It really does. Subterranean Homesick Blues. That's Maybelline.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
'Cause I was motivating over here, motor cool down. That role is what Bob was. Bob was into that too, man.
Yeah, Bob is just insane. You know what's insane about Bob is there's just all these different eras.
Well, there's no comparison. No one can compare to him because
like you'll be like, oh man, I'm way into the Desire record.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh well, that one got shit on early.
None of it's bad.
None of it's bad.
It's all great. Only the critics were bad.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
it's true. The critics never come back. Like they shit on Zeppelin on every record, and they never came back and went, "Yeah, we were wrong."
Well, Frank Zappa said that writing about music is like dancing about architecture. It's stupid. It's stupid to write about what somebody wrote. Music or even I don't know. I mean, we've all been through it with reviewers. Most of them don't do anything.
Yeah, nothing.
If another comic does a review on you, you might say, or another musician says, but somebody who can't play or sing or write or do comedy, or even an art critic can't paint.
Well, everything's personal taste too.
Yeah,
and also I'll tell you what. There's many albums over there that when I first got them, I went, fuck this record and traded it,
Yeah.
One of them being Octung Baby. I remember it came out and I was like, oh, this record's horrible.
Yeah.
And then a year later, my mind's ready for it. Same with Bruce Springsteen.
No, when I heard Wild and Innocent, or maybe the first one, maybe that's right.
Wild and Innocent's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I said, oh, this guy's just doing Van Morrison.
Yeah.
And yes, he was, but not just doing Van Morrison.
Yeah, right.
He was taking that next step with it.
Yeah.
We like to be closed-minded as kids. And, hey, I like Van Morrison. Nothing's better than Van Morrison.
That's exactly our problem when we were growing up.
We're not open. We don't open our heads to, oh, this guy likes Van Morrison too, and listen where he took that.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead, we're like, no, it ends here.
Like I love the Grateful Dead now.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with them. I grew up in San Francisco, and I would always be like, fuck those hippies.
Yeah.
Man, that shit sucks. And
well,
now,
we're all like Jack Black in High Fidelity.
Yeah.
I'm not selling you that record because it sucks.
Yeah. It's funny, though. It must be so weird to be a reviewer, and later, maybe the guy likes the record, and he has to admit it, like, I was wrong there. But you never read the follow-up,
I think maybe John Landau has said he was wrong about certain things he said.
Yeah.
He single-handedly broke up Cream.
Wow.
By giving them this horrible review on and it just like depressed the hell out of them, And the Beatles at the same time, everybody took Beatles and Cream, all the English bands took it to a certain point.
Yeah.
Then the band came.
Oh man.
With Bob Dylan.
It's so
it
different.
changed everything. All of a sudden Tumbleweed Connection comes out.
Yeah.
Elton trying to write his band album.
Yeah.
Delaney and Bonnie and this stuff comes out, and Eric and George are like, I want to be in those bands because I want to be in the band. And so it was about now Americanizing the English sound.
Yeah.
Through they did it enough with what Dylan was doing. You hear it really happen on
Basement Tapes.
well, yeah, but you hear it happen
Big Pink.
after that on the Stones, A Beggar's Banquet.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Dylan coming out of that.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
and then it starts getting like, oh, it's about serving the song.
Yeah.
Clapton was like, oh, it's not about me just wanking back here, because Cream was like a jazz band.
Yeah, they were.
You know, the jazz thing, Miles and Coltrane and Parker, was to play the head and then go off in the middle and just jam your asses off and then come back and play the head. And that's
Exactly.
the formula of what Cream did.
Yeah.
And then Clapton started getting like, I think, I want to play songs, you know?
Yeah.
J.J. Cale and all these writers
Oh,
he was
yeah.
listening to, and it was changing. You know, it was changing. It was because it had gone as far as it could, really.
What was it? You played with Levon Helm. What era did you play with him?
Well, the Rambles. We started doing those, and God, I don't remember what year. I know I was living down the road from him,
Wow.
and we had met at the Chicago Blues Festival. I was with Johnny Johnson playing, and Mike Merritt and James Wormworth, who are in the band with me now at Conan, and the band's bus pulls up and
You saw the band?
yeah, they pick us up, you know, and at that time it was already. I saw the band way back in the 70s, too.
Wow.
But at this point, well, I mean, that was, you had to. The Band and the Dead at Roosevelt Island, you know. And,
Yeah, wow.
And Watkins Glen, which was a great trip, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Allman's Dead in the band.
Wow,
you know?
just insane.
And then the later versions, when after Robbie had left, with Richard and Rick and Levon and Garth still. And
What was
and
that
Jim
called?
Weeder.
With
It was still
Danko
the
and
band.
everything? It was still the band? Yeah.
And of course it was. All the voices were there, and Jim
Yep.
Weeder was a great guitar player,
Yeah.
and is. So I met them in Chicago at the Blues Festival, and then we got to be friends, you know. And you know, Levon was like a big brother to me, you know, along with a lot of blues guys.
What a voice, huh?
Yeah, the voice of America.
It's just great. Rolled in the now.
Yeah.
It's just like,
It's
wow.
just like, you know what? It's a Matthew Brady photograph.
Yeah.
When he
Yeah,
sings.
yeah, yeah.
It's just like Civil War, you know. It's like bang.
I listened to the band, and I really was turned on to the band maybe 20 years ago from Jacob Dylan, because the Wallflowers
Yeah.
would play The Weight.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always everybody's first introduction to the band is The Weight.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I still don't even know how you could put together a band that sounds like the band.
But they worked. They worked in Toronto, up on Bloor Street up there on Young Street.
Yeah.
They worked with Ronnie Hawkins. They played like 6 shows a day.
That's right. There was backup
every
band
day.
Every day, yeah.
You know?
And he was a slave driver.
Yeah,
that guy was crazy.
They learned to do everything. They played every kind of music, and they had to play a lot of country music up there.
But no
And
one
rock and
sounds
roll.
like them.
It's just, you know, that's the way the gods aligned it. You know, the
Yeah.
cards fell that way.
Yeah.
And those voices.
Danko was
You know,
amazing.
only the Beatles had like 3-4 lead singers like that.
Yep. Yeah.
And they did. You know, they did too. And Robbie's stories were great, and those guys were great storytellers.
Yeah.
So the combination of that writer with those voices is, you know, it's like, you know, a writer having an acting troupe,
Yeah.
you know, for his plays
Yep.
only.
Yeah.
And that same troupe, you know, does it. And it's special that way. They groove, man.
Everything
They-
about
right
them.
away. Yeah.
Their outfits, the instruments they played.
Every fucking hipster's trying to look like
I
them
know.
today.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
You know?
It's
Sorry,
like-
you know,
Yeah.
they dressed that way because it was all they could afford.
Yeah, yeah, it's hilarious that these I mean, even when what was the band Mumford and Sons?
Yeah.
For a while they're just straight up looking like the
Dawes,
band
too, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, way back, Uncle Tupelo.
Uncle
Jeff Tweedy.
Tupelo, of course. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Jeff Tweedy and Jay Farrar, man, those guys were into it too. But they're, you know, that was the beginning of this resurgence of Americana.
Yeah, I
When
love
Jeff-
that shit. The old
those guys,
country.
yeah.
I mean, when you got into Wilco, Sunvolt,
Yeah.
you got into the early Whiskey Town, Ryan's
Yeah.
first
Oh, that
band.
shit was great,
And
man.
also the Jayhawks.
Even Lone Justice. Remember those
Absolutely,
guys?
Lone
Yeah.
Justice. Yeah, man.
Shane,
Yeah.
Shane
Fuck yeah.
Fontaine and
Jayhawks.
Yeah.
You know, that
oh
scene-
yeah, the who, what was it? The band that backed up Steve Earle later. It was that the
Steve Earle.
Steve Earle, Steve Earle.
Also, Lucinda Williams, Car Wheels on a Gravel Road. You had
I'm
all
thinking
this
of
music.
Roscoe and them, Eric Amble. What
Yeah,
band
yeah.
was that?
Yeah, what was that
The Del
band?
Lords.
The Del Lords.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that was, late 70s.
Yeah, there's some that alt country really came at the right time, man. It was just like, wow, this is fucking.
They call it Americana now.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't have a name.
Yeah.
Emmylou was doing it with the Hop Band for years, man.
Yeah.
With Albert Lee and all those guys.
Yeah, Eagles, Flying Burrito Brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Mach 1, you know?
Burritos, really.
Burritos, man.
Pre-Eagles, the Burritos.
Yep.
And of course, in 1969, I went to the Fillmore to see Al Cooper.
Wow.
And he didn't show up.
What?
I was pissed off, man. Oh, the Birds are going to play. Shit, it was Procol Harum, the Birds, and like Raven,
The Birds. How great is that?
The Birds were going to headline. After Procol Harum, they were going to go up. Impossible.
Yeah.
Well, they come out, and it's not the Birds that I thought I was going to see.
Yeah.
It's Clarence White on guitar.
Oh, wow.
It's that band. It's the Sweethearts band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this guitar playing that was like blowing my mind.
Yeah.
We didn't know he had this B-bender thing that he
I
invented.
love that thing,
Yeah,
right?
but-
The B-Bitter.
And they were so heavy, man. They weren't like the Birds at all that I had seen it in 1966 at a high school in New Jersey.
Right.
Different Birds.
Yeah.
The Crosby and
The Sweetheart record is huge.
Yeah.
It's just fantastic.
So this was the Untitled record.
Right.
Was being recorded. And I think they had a day off or something, and they came and they played the Fillmore for a night to fill in.
Yeah.
So it was mind-blowing how good it was.
Yeah.
And it was a playing situation.
Yeah.
So it blew my mind. There you go again. I had a preformed,
Yep.
my
You're like,
opinion
"Fuck
of
the
the Birds
Birds."
was like, oh, they're just going to sing Dylan songs in harmony.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And now even saying that sounds really stupid.
Yeah, right, 'cause the Birds are great
they
all the
made
way
no,
through.
everything's great. And I just went back recently.
Even their name's cool.
Right, it is. And I just went back recently and got it all again, along with the Hollies,
Yeah.
who don't get any respect.
Yeah.
And now going back to, of course, things. You mentioned John Lord and Deep Purple.
Yep.
Okay, let's start picking the bone
Let's
about
do it.
bands that belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of
Oh,
Fame.
God. Wait, I mean, this
Deep
is...
Purple?
It's unbelievable they're not, man. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a garbage can.
You go in and store still today, 40
Smoke
years
on the
later, and
Water.
kids are playing Smoke on the
It's
Water.
unbelievable.
40 years
It's the
later.
first song you learn. It's
Yeah.
one finger. Damn, 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 you know?
And not to mention the heinous, just like dissing of the MC5, who were like in Detroit. There's no, there's no punk or glam rock without them.
It's weird. It's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I've had
Even Patti Smith would admit.
Yeah, I've
that
had a
they
ton of
belong
people
in
here on the couch
before her.
and they make no sense at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They make no sense at all.
Well, we can't blame anybody that does get in for
Yeah.
getting in.
Oh no, I'd never do that. I never
It's
go.
not
You
fair.
shouldn't be in.
It's not fair to say that because they try to keep it vital by having people's interest in some newer people. too.
Yeah, of course.
But-
Like with hip hop, people
Yeah.
are like, "Oh, it shouldn't be in
That's
there."
not true. That everybody should go and see
Oh,
Straight
yeah.
Outta Compton.
Oh, that's
if
what
they
I'm saying.
think they,
Yeah.
Howlin' Wolf said at the end of an old record, he said, "People say you don't like the blues, but you wrong."
Yeah.
Well, I feel the same way. That is a lot like hip hop.
Well, I was there. So it's Jane's Addiction, it's Guns N' Roses, and that's the fucking huge thing. And then the next, what I call heavy metal, was NWA.
Yeah.
Because it was dangerous.
Yeah.
It had complete outlaws in the band, and it had a radical message. And that's
it's a
what
great,
rock was.
It's a great movie. We almost forget that the guys that survived, that are still out there, they went through a lot, man. I mean,
man.
really,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, man.
it was, it's funny because the blues was a lot like that in Chicago.
Yeah.
Guys were in knife fights, killing each other, hitting each other over the head with, but
That shit was real.
It was gangs.
That shit was real.
I mean, it was like, it was ghetto,
Yeah.
and it really, the music was always coming out of all of this shit, man. And that's why the blues and rock and roll has such a violent side to it, man.
Yeah, man. I did a movie with Ice Cube about 7 years ago, and I just couldn't get over. I've met a lot of stars in my life, but I couldn't get over, like, man, that's fucking Ice Cube.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, that guy was just like, and then you find out on the movie, he's writing all the fucking raps for all of them.
And he's really not a bad kid, though. You realize that. You see that, and the cops are fucking with him, taking his books and throwing them on the ground.
Yeah, just treating him like
he's
shit.
He's just a good kid, really. He's not a gangster.
Not at all, man.
But he's living amongst that.
Yeah.
And he's an observer.
Yep.
So he's like a
he's like a poet,
a topical comic,
Yep.
Somebody who's commenting on the times, and he's a poet.
Yeah.
And street poet, and a really good guy too, and Ice-T too.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, yeah,
man.
Cop Killer, all that shit back then. They were after him, Yeah.
Yeah. And now he's a media star, But you know what? The choice is die or adapt.
That's it, man. That's it. You can only. It's also like when bands were shooting junk in the 80s. Or even the grunge scene.
Yeah.
It's either you're shooting junk, you're in this whole scene, but it's like, all right, either quit or you die.
Well, how different is that from Lenny Bruce? Really,
that's it.
Think about it.
Exactly.
The first one is always a tragic one.
Yeah.
And then the guys get smart, like George Carlin. They still say what Lenny was saying, but they're a little smarter about it.
Yeah.
Because the first guy has to really stand up and yell about what it is.
Yeah.
And then everybody else gets the benefit.
People forget him. They just climb over him.
Right. They climb over him, the fallout, and that's what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it happens, with music. It happens with actors,
Yeah.
It happens, lately, again, guys like Mitch Hedberg, it happens.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. And then you see other guys and you say, someone will always come along that's unique.
Yeah.
And you can only hope that they won't be screwed up from it. Because, there's a certain amount of, today, we're all men of letters. ADHD, OCD. We're all men of letters.
Yeah.
Now, some kid that might be a genius comic is going to have that shit beat out of him with drugs. They're going to give him stuff, like to just level him out. But the anger is part of getting that out.
Yeah, if you take drugs, it takes away your insanity.
Well,
which
especially
is
stuff that right. That
you know what I mean?
Your
it really does, because then you're flatlined and you have no feeling or anything, and you're like, well, what do you feel about that? It's like, it's all good, man.
Yeah.
You can't write comedy when it's all good,
unless you're Cheech and Chong.
Yeah,
and then
and that's a
and
whole.
It's all
that's a genre.
That.
Yeah,
that's a whole genre. But music is the same way too. The Southern California sound always got maligned on the East Coast for just being too cool, too perfect, too
sunshine.
Easy. But when you live out here, like I have now for 6 years, I understand it. So when I hear that music,
Oh hell yeah, man! When you watch the Eagles documentary, you just absolutely
it's great.
You just absolutely worship them.
Yeah, it's really great.
Because like hipsters always try to shit on the Eagles. When I was growing up, before they called them hipsters or whatever, guys would be like, "Oh, fuck those guys, man! The burritos is where it's at." And I'm like, "Really, man? You're gonna deny all these fucking songs?
Yeah.
All of them? You're going to deny the
look? Are you
look?
kidding? If you're riding your bike, wouldn't you rather hear some of that shit and some Steppenwolf?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, man. Oh, man. I love that. What's the song on the Steppenwolf one on Easy Rider? Or who does it? The Pusher Man. Who does that? God damn, the Pusher Man.
We played that. I played that with Slash at the Maui Sugar Mill.
God.
Because we were getting songs together, and I said, well, how about these? Oh, yeah, I used to play that in my first band.
Wow.
Let's play Pusher. And then we find out Hoyt Axton wrote it, right?
Wow.
Who plays the father in Gremlins.
Really?
And also wrote Jeremiah was
Oh, yeah.
And he also wrote The Pusher, and he had a couple other really great... Oh, he also wrote... well, I've never been to Spain for that,
wow. Yeah. No shit.
And
that guy wrote.
And May Axton, I think it was his mother, or wrote Heartbreak Hotel.
Wow.
Yeah. So they were like,
that's some fucking hits there.
Family,
yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah, did you see Allman Brothers at the Fillmore?
Yes.
Yeah.
And towards the end, when end of the Fillmore, not the end of the Allman Brothers.
Right.
And
So
I saw
Dwayne
them,
Allman era.
Dwayne was still there, yes. And then the next time I went to see them, Dwayne had passed.
Right.
And it was at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And Berry was still there, I believe, and no second guitar player. Chuck Leavell had just come into the band.
Oh, Chuck Leavell.
Yeah.
Who's been in the Stones forever now.
Yeah, and just Dickie was playing guitar then. And I've gotten to be friends with those cats, and their kids, and and all of them.
Who was knocking you out on guitar back then?
Well, always Mike Bloomfield.
Oh yeah.
Always Dwayne. Always Clapton. Always Johnny Winter.
That's funny. Marin hates Clapton.
Yeah. I keep telling him, Marin hates the Beatles.
Yeah, yeah.
He wouldn't talk about the Fab Four. I have this great Beatle band. Me and Will Lee have a Beatle band.
Yeah, yeah.
That is not a wigs and suits and plastic noses. It's not a wax fruit band.
Yeah, yeah. I saw the Beatlemania, and it blew my mind when I was a kid.
We don't do any of that.
I understand that.
We just play the music.
Right.
And we take the records to, in fact, we're playing at Northridge, in October.
Wow.
The 17th. And we're going to play, we're going to play music, and Marin's like, I don't want to talk about that because I don't like the Beatles. So oh, that's right, I forgot, Mark. We're talking about you, man. Can you feel it?
It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday,
and he's
fucker.
Like my best friend.
and listen. I know. And I went over there, and he took out a vinyl copy of the Animals, and he put it on his thing.
Yeah.
And it was mono.
Yeah.
And it sounded like we were in a fucking room with the Animals.
That's cool, right?
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It felt like it was 3-dimensional.
I go to Mark's.
We didn't even have a drink.
I go to his house sometimes, and he'll put on, we were there one day, and we turned up AC/DC Power Age.
Yeah.
And we just sat on the couch. We didn't say anything. And it was like Bon Scott was fucking in our face.
Yeah, and then your vinyl you're listening.
Yeah, of course. And it's
anyway, he's like, oh, I like the Kinks and I like the Who.
Yeah.
And I love the the Yardbirds.
Yeah.
I said, well, that's Clapton. No, not really. It's Page more. But we get into that.
Yeah. He always says to me, you think everything's amazing. I'm like, no, I'm only talking about stuff I think's amazing.
Well, he's a really good guitar player.
He is, man, right?
And I tell him all the time, and then he likes hearing it more even.
He is good, though.
He's got a great vibrato.
We do that jam at the...
you sound like Clapton, and he goes, I don't like Clapton.
We do that jam at the Baked Potato, and he kills, man. We did Stray Cat Strut, you know? And he just rocks it, man.
Yeah, he can play.
I love him. He can play. So those are the guys... let's talk.
And of course, Page and Beck, of course.
Of course,
Of course, all of those guys.
Did you get into Eddie? Were you into that later?
Well, what happened was right around then, right around that part of the 70s, late 70s, I started getting really into Magic Sam and Hubert Sumlin, all the Chicago guys.
Oh, wow.
So I started going backwards.
You went backwards to the
I was
blues
going
guys.
backwards, and I wasn't hearing that. That shredding stuff, because I had been through that loving Frank Zappa's playing, and he was the original shredder.
Right.
Really just playing, and I was, and in John McLaughlin, I saw him too, But
Peter Green, Peter Green?
Peter Green was great, but he's more like a Chicago guy.
Right.
So when I finally did, I think maybe sometime in the 90s, I guess when Van Halen was really big.
Van Hagar?
Well, no, before that. But, around the 1984 record.
Yeah, Jump and all that. Panama.
Panama's great. Well, that's the song that turned me.
Wow.
Because I heard that and I said, that's cool, man. That is really great, And then I started I got a lot of bands late, man. I think I got this California sound late of Chili Peppers and Guns N' Roses was easy because it was just real rock and roll.
Yeah.
So there was nothing to listen through. It was just, it's coming again. It's like, it was a great version of the Stones and Zeppelin kind of.
And Aerosmith.
And Aerosmith.
Kind of like that.
A lot of like that. And that was always great. And that was always familiar territory.
Yeah.
There was nothing revolutionary. It was just, again, great rock and roll.
And dangerous, though, again, because it was like, oh, shit.
Well, they looked dangerous.
Yeah, right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
And that was important, especially with what was coming out of L.A. at the time. When you think about Poison and bands like
and
the big hair band.
White Snake. And Warrant.
Yeah.
And all that kind of.
I don't know who else was Detective around. I don't know these fucking bands.
Yeah, all those bands.
All really
the spill off from Motley Crue. You know,
yeah, which
Motley
is
Crue
in the top of the pyramid. For that stuff.
Motley Crue, Quiet Riot. They kick open the door, and then all of a sudden it's just a fucking army of what is this?
And Quiet Riot gets off on playing Slade covers.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I was a big Slade fan. And Mott the Hoople, and I go, well. They just, they just updated it.
They're just doing covers. That was weird, right? They're just doing covers.
Yeah, but they knew that how to get a club crowd going nuts with those songs.
Yeah.
So it was like it wasn't really a cheap shot. It was a really smart move.
Absolutely.
And they can work
Most
forever.
people that were into Quiet Riot didn't even know what Slade was.
Yeah, no, they didn't. And Noddy Holder, Slade. They almost sound like a Spinal Tap band when you read their names.
Yeah, right.
It's like, there's a guy named Noddy Holder. He was one of my favorites, man. And they all made up names back then.
Yeah.
All the Mott the Hoople guys had fake names, So that was, I found out later that Ariel Bender, who came in after Mick Ralphs, was really Luther Grosvenor, who was the guitar player in Spooky Tooth years before.
Oh, Spooky Tooth, great band, man. There's so many great bands, right?
Well,
I don't think you can really listen to everything. It's just so much.
Well, you have to at least now. I go back like you do. And go, hey, that's better than I remember that being.
Oh, God, yeah. Right? Like today, I'm listening to Curtis Mayfield all day.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, oh, yeah. I'm listening to Johnny Pate's string charts, going, oh, man, I learned to deconstruct those records and learned how to arrange from those records.
There was a time, there's times in my life where shit hits me and I go, oh, well, this is all I'm listening to for now on,
Yeah.
And that was really Curtis Mayfield with the Crybaby, that sound. It's like, wow, 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 give me your love.
Yeah.
With the falsetto vocal. Incredible shit,
How about if there's a hell below?
God.
We can't sing that.
Yeah.
We can't even sing the first line.
I
know. It's one, and also Pusher Man. We can't sing that.
Yeah. But man, it's that guy.
He's the first guy to use the N-word.
Yeah.
On pop records.
Yeah.
And get away with it.
It was funny. I was playing it for a guy yesterday, and he's like, oh, man. I mean, how many times does he say that?
Well, because it was the only one saying it.
Yeah. And it was a blaxploitation film. Soundtrack for it, know.
And it meant something different then too. I saw him in Central Park.
Wow,
at the,
Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah, he played in Central Park right around the time when that was out. In I don't know, maybe it was like 74,
right,
75,
right.
And I remember them playing Freddie's Dead live, and it was and it looked like there was about 15 people on stage.
God,
and Curtis all dressed in white, huge white bell bottoms, giant. Floppy hat. He looked like one of the Cosby kids.
Man, he got fucked, man. That light rig fell on him.
Yeah, but he made a great record after that.
He did? What one's after that?
The last record is really great. I don't know the name of it even. But somebody played it for me and said, dig this. And I said, I bet you haven't listened to this. I said, no.
Yeah.
You stop sometimes. But there was a last record. And whatever it is, it's worth getting because he could sing.
Yeah. He could sing still, Sing. I got the box set just recently. It's up there. I'm going to dig in it. It's like everything.
You get all of that impression.
Yeah, exactly, man. That stuff's like incredible.
I remember I got the record called This Is My Country by that I loved so much. And it was just a total blackness record. It had white people didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
It's just, they're standing in the rubble of a ghetto on the cover of it.
Wow.
And it's just total social comment.
Wow.
And not what white people were listening to at all. And man, he was very, very out. I mean, it's amazing that he didn't get like assassinated.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
the shit he was saying on record.
Yeah, got early on guys that were that had a point of view.
Yeah, he was
point of view. It's even like early Public Enemy is some of my favorite. Chuck D. Yeah. He picks it up and just like telling you what's going on in the neighborhood. Yeah. Fight the power.
Well, even Marvin Gaye was.
Yeah.
What's going on because that and Mercy Me about the ecology.
Yeah.
It was like, wow, you're going to say this? You're going to get out and say this? Yeah.
Those guys are so badass, man. I love.
Well, Marvin and Stevie both rebelled against the system, like Motown.
Yep.
And that's why Tamla was started.
Wow.
Because that's Marvin started Tamla, so him and Stevie could make their music away from the corporate machine.
The machine.
The hit-making machine.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's when those records, What's Going On and Music of My Mind,
came
out.
Yeah.
Stevie, before Talking Book, Music of My Mind came out.
Yeah.
When they controlled their careers and went in and made their own records.
It's amazing,
produced themselves.
right? Like Songs in the Key of Life. I mean, that stuff, all those records he was doing.
Yeah.
I think he's like, what, 15, 16 when he's doing that stuff, early on the stuff.
And Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, it's Earth, Wind, and Fire absolutely blows my mind. And there was all these bands back then. They had Lakeside, all these like, they were just like, it was
Frankie Beverly and Maze were great.
Yeah,
man.
pre-disco.
Well, it's funk.
It's funk.
But it was calmed down.
But it wasn't Parliament.
It wasn't George Clinton.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And it wasn't James Brown either.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It was just like
jazz. Because Maurice White was a jazz drummer and he played in Ramsey Lewis's band.
Yeah.
And those guys were all they had a jazz chord structure in their writing.
Yeah.
This beautiful stuff that they're doing, but it's still grooving like crazy, and that's we don't get that anymore. Somehow it's coming back. Raphael Sadiq does it. A lot of Curtis sort of stuff, and if you dig Raphael, it's coming back in a way, but it's very niche and it's very retro.
Yep.
What Josh Stone does and him and a couple other people.
Of course, Josh Stone. I mean,
and
also
Tedeschi and Trucks are doing great things. That are more like Delaney and Bonnie. But again, my heart always goes to stuff that reminds me of certain. So what's new is the question. Yeah.
I mean, what is new? Like once in a while, something will hit me, and I'll be like, wow, that's pretty. I mean, I'm still loving Kraftwerk, and nobody's, from like way back then all the way, and they're still out playing,
There's a new Dead Weather coming, which is
came out on Friday. It's fantastic. I had Allison on the show a couple weeks ago. That record is fire.
Yeah,
and everything.
It's called New Dead Weather, I think.
No, everything Jack White does is amazing.
Because Jack, besides being a Batman villain in real life, is a cat that knows what a riff is.
Yeah,
and there's nothing that gets us going like a good riff.
That's what it is.
Every one of us. And Jack, he's the riff king, man. He knows about writing a riff, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who he's playing with.
Yeah,
it works.
He really steals that movie with the three. It May Get Loud with Page and the Edge.
Yeah,
the opening scene, he's building a guitar.
Yeah,
and the mystique of that whole thing, and then he just plugs it in. It's like.
Well, he is. He's from Detroit, so that's important. Don't forget, that's where rock and roll really comes. A lot of it really comes from Motor City.
Yeah, the dirty rock.
Dirty rock
Nuge.
and the Motown. And
you ever get into Nuge?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy, man.
I'm not a Nuge guy now, but I'll tell you what, I think Double Live Gonzo is one of the best records ever made for just straight.
Yeah, you have to have that.
Straight fucking rock.
You might just want that record.
God, man, it's so insane.
And he's got the balls to play a Birdland.
A Birdland, yeah.
You can't even play like he can.
Yeah, it's like a jazz guitar.
Yeah, he says
it's huge.
He plays it because Jim McCarty played one in the Detroit Wheel.
It was so weird because no one played one. And then it's blonde, so it looks even more like he's going to play jazz. And then he just comes out and he just plays like Stranglehold and you lose your mind.
Yeah, he's a maniac, man.
He really is a maniac.
And still one of the greats, So, that there's so much to go back and listen to guitar playing wise.
Yeah,
always. When you talk about Eddie Van Halen, that's a innovator.
The guys, I think he's the number one. Yeah. I think for me of all time, just because of what he did.
Some people push it forward, and he did.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of friends in L.A. like Steve Lukather. These are great players.
Yep.
And it's all in that period when the L.A. guys had chops.
Yeah. Well, there was that scene. It's kind of like after Steely Dan, where all these guys were around that were really killer players. It's kind of like that baked potato scene.
Yeah, but then they had to make music out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of them did.
Yeah, like Halsworth and all that stuff. All those.
Yeah, well, that's like, again, if it doesn't have like a lyric,
no songs. That's what I'm saying.
A riff.
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Yeah. Well, now you worked with Donald Fagen, man, and I am an absolute huge Steely Dan fan.
Yeah.
I never saw him, and then I think in '96 they finally tour. I go see him at the Concord Pavilion, and I lose my mind because every song sounded exact to the record.
Well, that's because all that care was put into those records.
Yeah.
Are you going to waste it and change it?
Yeah.
No. Everyone playing in that current band is a fan of the records.
God,
too.
they're insane.
You know,
I just
and
saw them twice this year.
Let's see. I had a band up on the Upper East Side playing this joint Hades, and it was like 91, I guess, 90, 91. And my keyboard player, Jeff Young, who's now with Jackson Browne.
Yeah.
I had two keyboard players, and Harvey Brooks played bass from Super Session, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I had like a 9-piece band, up there called the Little Big Band. And Jeff said, "Hey, Fagen's coming down." I said, "What? Get out of here!"
Yeah,
Fagan
what year are we
comes down,
talking?
It's like a 90, right? 90.
Wow. So there's no
91.
Steely Dan. He's just a ghost.
He's I guess Nightfly was out, and the other one was coming out. Maybe he was working on Karma Kyriat or something.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, I can't remember everything, but some of it. That the place was empty, and he was sitting in a corner by himself at a table, and Jeff calls him up. He says, "Come on up and play, man." He says, "Yeah, all right." He brings this melodica. He's got that.
That thing he plays.
Melodica, and
I
he's
love that
playing like
thing.
a saxophone player.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, you want to sing something?" And we're like figuring. He goes, "Yeah, Down Along the Cove."
Wow.
Bob Dylan,
Wow.
something from John Wesley Harding.
Yeah.
So he's
and
quickly,
you guys know it?
No, but he quickly just writes out a chord chart and hands it to us. Goes, "Go."
Wow.
And he was for him. I'm not really speaking for him, but in my opinion, is that for him to be in such a free situation was fun,
Right.
Because he didn't have a lot of that in the past.
Yeah.
It was very
Steely Dan,
structured.
it's super structured.
Super structured, but I think, and then he started coming around more and more, and then we put a band together. We put those Rock and Soul Review together.
Wow.
And started doing New York Nights and Rock and Soul Review at the Lone Star. And that's where I met a lot of people. And he would, he was really gracious. We started learning some little by little. We're just like pushing, saying, "What if we do? I don't know, maybe,
Yeah.
What if we do? How about that? Okay. How about Chain Lightning? Okay.
Yeah.
What about Green Earrings? Okay. What about Reeling in the Ears? No. Back then, it was like I remember getting in a cab, coming out of a cab, and saying, "Why can't we do Reeling in the Ears?"
Yeah.
He said, "Well, why can't I just go home, put on my bell bottoms and platform shoes, and look at myself in the mirror?"
Wow. I love that song, and I took a friend to see
The hits. You see what it is
Yeah.
about guys their hits?
Yeah.
They sort of someone that deep.
Yep.
And that much of a genius.
Yeah.
They don't want to, the hits almost, it's to them, it's like, I want to do something that's not the hits.
Yeah, my buddy hates that song because he thinks it's Skinnered, And I'm
No,
like,
it's way different.
I know. Oh, yeah, totally. And I'm like, man, this thing is just cocaine driving music. It's like,
And that's a compliment to Skinner.
Oh, yeah.
Who don't need compliments because they're great too. But
Unbelievable.
Your buddy's
Skinner.
wrong. So what can you say?
Yeah, he is
He could
wrong.
be wrong. He
Yeah.
could be wrong. Anyway, Fagen was really cool, and we were doing stuff, and Rick Danko would come, and
Wow.
and Gary Busey would come.
Gary
Because
Busey?
Rick would get Gary with him.
Yeah. Wow, what a combo.
It's like playing football on stage with Gary Busey. I'm telling you, it was fun.
Yeah.
And Mac Rebenek and just all the usual New York suspects
Right.
were coming up. And Donald was bringing around Paul Griffin, a great keyboard player, and bringing around old singers and people that Phoebe Snow became part of the troupe,
Yeah.
and Michael McDonald and everybody.
Yeah.
And then one day we're playing the Lone Star, and me with my big mouth, of course. I see Walter, and he's like walking like the wall. He's like, "We're playing."
Yeah.
He's just like, he's got the hoodie on his head. He's like the unibobber Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Sunglasses, and he's just kind of walking the wall. And then I called him out from the stage.
Wow. Becker, get up here.
I made him get up here. He hasn't forgiven me, but we're really tight now in a funny way.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever forgiven me for that, but he did come up. And the two-headed monster ensued to come back together.
Wow.
And I gave him my Strat to play, and I'm pretty sure we played Black Friday.
Wow.
And he's a monster guitar player and bass player and songwriter.
He's got shitloads of guitars. I just saw him. He played a Carina V and a Carina Explorer.
Yeah.
I fucking loved him for that. Out of Coachella, I'll show these kids. I got a Carina V.
So we all the time talk gear and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's become a really, really, really good cat, with me.
Yep.
And I know that, we all have so much admiration for those guys.
Yeah,
that
man.
it's hard to separate it from the human being,
Right.
sometimes.
I've been
and
there.
You can't be that guy.
Yeah, I know. I always try not to.
The wall starts going up.
It really does, man. It's funny because sometimes I'll hold it back as much as I can.
Yeah, well, no, it happens
Yeah.
because it just does. It just does because their minds are different.
Yep.
They're
like, uh-oh, here comes the super fan.
Well, no, that's what happens.
Yep,
and
yeah.
you can see the bricks actually going up.
Yeah.
You stop it somehow.
Yeah.
But you really can't once it starts going up.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But it's okay. I found that with artists that you admire, it's best to just be yourself and let them and talk about old blues guys.
Yeah.
And it works every time.
Or equipment.
If
you talk equipment
or anything but their music.
Yeah. Exactly.
You become that Chris Farley bit with Paul McCartney. You just become that guy.
Yeah. I'm really careful on it. I get it about 98% of the time. I'm pretty good. But if it was like a Zach De La Rocha from Rage, guys that just really blew my mind, like a Karen O from Yes, where I would just be like, what the fuck? I mean, like the amount of like next level that they are,
Well, but that's for you to,
totally.
That's for you. And they don't, and it's funny too, because some people are, you think they're not shy, but they are shy.
Oh, yeah, they are shy.
And they don't, it's uncomfortable
to
hear about how great they are coming from somebody.
When somebody tells me like, oh, you're really funny, I can't believe how great, I do feel weird, because I'm like, I'm so new.
Well, usually you're like this too.
Yeah.
That was my worst fucking night.
Yeah,
and
right.
This guy thinks I was funny.
Well, I always think like, dude, there's Bill Burr and CK and Chappelle and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's no way. You know what I mean? So I get it.
Well, those three guys you just mentioned are the Mount Everest of
That's right.
of Rushmore.
The Rushmore of comedy.
The Mount Everest both.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're actually Mount Rushmore on Mount Everest.
That's right. That's right. That's how high up they are.
That's how high up they are.
Yeah. I mean, I hang with a lot of big comedians, but when I do see CK...
Well, Louis was on our show for years. He was on one
That's
of our
amazing.
writers, so I know him a different way.
Yeah. Like, to me,
Yeah.
I really think he's the Zeppelin of comedy, so I really trip out around him like, oh, hey, Louis. And then I just, I just get away.
Yeah. No, he's just, I'm proud of him. As like a big brother. I know him from like the early 90s.
Guy's a fucking artist,
And
Let's
Dave, too. I used to see Dave on the fucking train.
Yeah.
Chappelle, where you going? It's like, it's something I got to go down to. I have to go up to Catch a Rising Star and do a show or something,
Let's talk about the show. You're playing around New York, and you get a call to be in the Conan band.
Yeah.
Is this the beginning of Conan?
Yeah, the very beginning.
And
Because all of us Jersey guys know each other. And,
right.
Max and I know each other from Bruce and other situations.
Yeah.
And I was working with Clarence at the time and living in Sausalito at his house.
Wow, up there, right?
And I get a call from Max.
You're living in Sausalito?
Yeah, in Clarence's house.
Right.
His mansion. We could never run into each other.
Wow.
And just up there, we have a band and we're working.
Sausalito's beautiful. Are you hanging at the plant or anything? What are you guys doing?
We go down to... what's it called? Sweetwater.
I love the Sweetwater, man. Mill Valley.
Yeah.
I played so many gigs there. How about that dressing room?
The other Sweetwater that was in Sausalito.
Oh, I don't even know that. Did you ever play the Mill Valley one?
Yes, I did.
I love the downstairs, the basement.
There with Elvin Bishop and Charlie Musselwhite.
Wow, Charlie Musselwhite, one of the best harmonica players ever.
Who else was there? Oh, Maria Moldar was there.
God.
Barry Goldberg.
That place had fucking history. But anyway, go ahead.
And Max says to me, I got an audition with this guy who's going to take over for Letterman. Don't tell Clarence.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you tell Clarence, he's going to steal the gig.
Yeah.
Because all Clarence has to do is drop a dime and he's got a gig.
Wow.
His personality is so huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know him, and we're good friends, so I don't say anything, and Max.
Clarence is mind-boggling, right?
He was a force of nature.
I couldn't believe him, man.
Bruce knew it,
Yeah.
He was a natural, like a natural, just... he didn't really know what music was, but he was music.
That's crazy.
You can imagine
You
that?
mean like, could he read music?
No. He didn't know what a note was.
Whoa.
No, he's just the most natural. It was just like natural.
Wow.
I mean, it would be I don't know what it'd be like being a great actor and not being able to even read the script.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But so what?
Wow.
Just go.
Unbelievable.
Just go. Look, here's the. He'd be like great for. That's why he was such a talent on stage.
Yeah.
There was nothing blocking. No thought blocking.
Yeah.
The heart to the hand music.
There's no rules.
Yeah, the music goes from the heart right into the horn.
Unbelievable.
And the head's not part of it. So,
wow.
So he was just a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Too. And we were really, really good friends at that time. And I didn't tell him.
Yeah.
I said, I got to go back to New York.
Yeah. So Max,
Yeah.
he's going to audition, and they say, do you know a guitar player?
No, and Max says to me, I don't have a band,
Uh-huh.
So I said, well, I have my Vivino Brothers band, me
Yeah.
and Jerry and Scott Healy and Mike Merritt, and, James Wormworth can't do the gig because you're playing drums.
Yeah.
And he said, all right, and let's get some more horns. Let's get La Bamba and Pender out of the Jukes.
Yeah.
So we grabbed them because they had all played with Bruce.
Right.
So we kind of put a band together, as partners, and we were partners for a long time in
Right.
that until he was just doing Bruce too much.
Right.
And then when we came out here and the shit hit the fan, and I really can't say, I don't want to say anything negative about what happened because we're in a good position now.
Right.
So I don't want to appear bitter about what happened with us in NBC. It just was a bad circumstance.
Well, it could be one of the most fucking insane things I've
We were
ever...
16 years set up to do this, and then... a guy decides to double back and go back on his word, and the network decides to go for it.
Yeah.
So it's really not one person's fault.
Nope, it's not. But it is one of the most craziest things ever to happen.
I changed my mind.
Yep. Also...
And it's a network having cold feet about us.
Yeah.
Also.
No confidence.
No confidence. And then also, when we did get there... trying to change the thing. We're sitting here with these microphones in your house doing this so freely.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of exchange that we like to have on our show. Yet, when you're there at corporate NBC headquarters or CBS or ABC,
Any of the
or
machine.
wherever you are in a corporate, and you're on their corporate lot, and their lawyers are breathing down your neck every day, I guess it's it's harder to work in a real creative situation.
Yeah.
So we're in a way better place now,
right?
Where we are. So I can't really comment on it other than that. Everything that happens gets you to where you are today.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be sitting on this couch with you, so fuck it, man.
Yeah. See, look what that did to your career.
This is important.
You're over here, man.
And now I'm on your podcast looking at this fucking weird mask.
That's Devo, bougie boy.
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask is, over the years, I had gone to the Tonight Show many, many times. It was Bradford Marsalis.
Yeah, Bradford was there.
Yeah, and I remember specifically watching exactly what went down. Bradford pulled in. The band people walked in. They tuned up for about 5 minutes. Stutter and John did a warm-up. They played 1 hour. He got in his car and he left. And I thought, that could be the ultimate job.
Except that I'm there at 9 a.m. writing.
Is that right?
Getting stuff together. And our comedy, we're doing comedy on a daily basis. Writers have music they need. We're stockpiling all kinds of cues.
Right.
I'm working usually from 9 or 10 at the latest if I'm late.
So it's like a real job.
It's an 8-hour job for me.
No shit, huh?
Yeah, or more, depending on if I stay afterwards and do stuff.
Wow.
Because we love doing it, and my band comes in at noon, and they're done at 6. So they're there for 6 hours.
Right.
Now,
you've been there since '93.
Yeah.
Did you early Conan? I watched the first year of Conan, and I'm like, you're like, this ain't gonna last.
We're hanging by a thread,
right? I'm like, this ain't gonna last.
All of us.
You're like, who is this guy? He's got, he's giant tall, but then eventually, all of a sudden, something turns, and I go, this is the fucking man.
Well, because and. That's probably partially the genius of Lorne Michaels.
Right.
Recognizing that.
Yeah.
And sticking with it.
Yep.
And he's done that. This is just my opinion now. With Saturday Night Live casts that I've gone, and he sticks with them, and I watch, and I start to get it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that would say, "Oh, it ended with Bill Murray." They're wrong.
Yeah, they're wrong.
They're wrong.
Everybody has an
era. And each generation has people they like better.
Yeah.
So, now the Adam Sandlers are the old timers.
Yeah.
So these guys that came along, now even Bill Hader's becoming like that's an old timer of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
There's new guys coming.
Yeah.
And it's the greatest farm system for comedy.
It really is.
You know, and I think to his credit, the only time the show wasn't good was when Dick Ebersol was producing it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
He came back.
That's such a weird era, right?
His franchise.
yeah, he's like, I got to fix this.
Yeah, well, it happens with baseball teams, too.
Yeah, I remember, though, I mean, when I really look at Conan, it's some of the most legendary, funny comedy of my time, late night, because I would come home from playing gigs, always in the city. I'd get home right around that time. I'd turn it on. And some of this shit, like, I still think that the Triumph, the Insult Dog, is probably one of the top 5 funny things I've ever seen in my life.
Robert Smigel's a genius, too, man.
Unbelievable.
And Dino, who's, you know, and these cats, like, you know, that were with us and now are making stuff for Comedy Central and for Adult Swim.
Yeah.
A lot of our ex-writers are doing these fantastic things, you know.
Yeah.
Metalocalypse and shit.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm friends with Brendan Small.
Yeah,
you
Brendan's
know?
a great guitar
He's
player.
great, and we do that show, that bake show.
Yeah, and Dino was there originally, and then Dino did Moral Oral. And, I mean, there's some real... You know, the great thing about that Adult Swim is that it has no boundaries.
No rules.
There's no rules.
Yeah.
No guidelines.
Yeah.
You can't go low enough there.
Yeah.
And nobody will say, no, we can't put that on the air.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I like it, you know, and I like the freedom that has, man. And Comedy Central's get all these cable stations.
Yep.
You know, the
even
nobody
FX.
saw this coming. Yeah.
FX.
Yeah, nobody saw this coming.
Nope.
You know? That all the good shit's being produced on cable now.
Yeah, TBS seems to be good for you guys,
they're
though, right?
Good, man. And if only our unions had made better deals with cable.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, it happened with music. It's after a while, though, it sounds like sour grapes when you say it used to be better in the old days.
Yeah.
This is what it is now.
It is, yeah.
You know, the landscape is changing incredibly fast.
It's crazy, man.
You know, I got a TV
Netflix.
now my TV's got that shit built into it.
Yeah.
Hulu and Netflix.
That TV hasn't been on in 5 years right there because I just watch everything on the computer.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. You can stream it. And now what I do is I buy TV shows, seasons.
Yeah, that's it.
Because I watch them on the plane, and they'll never have good enough This is why they'll never have good enough, my theory, conspiracy. Why they will never have good enough Wi-Fi on the planes. Because then we can stream all that shit for free.
Yeah,
so now we got to buy stuff and actually download it to watch it on the plane.
Bad flights and work and everything like that.
Otherwise, we'll stop buying the movie on the plane, which they're charging too much for.
Oh, yeah.
That's already edited and crappy anyway.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
So I don't care. Then I'll buy a whole season of American Horror Story or Sons of Anarchy, whatever, and I'll watch it on the plane.
Hell yeah.
And I don't care if it costs me $20, you know?
Nope.
It's still a better $20 than I could buy like a bad meal for. You know?
Absolutely.
So or $30, or
you know,
maybe they're up to $33 a season.
It's like fucking $20 just to eat like at fast food now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. A couple of burgers and a shake, man.
What was that first season like when you're at Conan? You're working on a TV show and
every day, like something would change about the set.
Yeah.
Something would change about the opening. Something would change about where the band was. There was like the committee was down, you know, with all the people from upstairs at 8H, which was Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
They would all come down and consult, and they were like doctors standing around a dying patient.
Yeah.
You know? A lot of beard stroking. And, what if we try this? You know,
they're just trying anything, right?
I think Conan is one of the smartest people I ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And funniest and genuine, real good guy, and a great music fan and a good musician himself, you know.
Oh yeah.
So when I think there was a point where he finally took control of his own show.
Yeah.
After all those, the committee
get his own confidence.
Yeah. And that takes a while sometimes when you get shoehorned into this position.
Yeah.
You know, you're writing on The Simpsons and you get a phone call that says, "You're on, kid."
Isn't that crazy?
You know?
You're writing on The Simpsons, and next thing you know, you're taking over for Letterman.
Yeah.
I mean,
and if you look at his history when he was a kid, he even has there's even 8mm, or videos of him, doing his talk show in the yard with his sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
With a microphone.
Yeah.
Just like being Johnny Carson.
Right.
So to me, it's like me playing along with my Al Cooper records, my Mike Bloomfield
You were
records.
just getting ready.
The same thing.
Yep.
We were, and now we're realizing what we thought we could possibly achieve. And yes, luck is a big part of it. There's a lot of talent out there.
Yeah.
But it's also, I try to tell kids when they come and they can play their asses off. They come out of Berkeley and they got all this shit together. I said, a baseball player hits the ball and he doesn't drop down and start doing push-ups. He plays the game.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to play the game. You got to learn how to work.
Well, I always say the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah. That's right. No, that's true. And
that's
also,
a true story, man.
It's also the relationships you forge with people, and
that's right.
Connections, right place and right time is important.
Early time connections. So it goes all the way back to being Jersey and being friends
all the people we met
Max.
on the way up.
That's right.
Well, but before that, I was already on the road with Felix Cavalieri from the Rascals and Laura Nero and with John Sebastian. I was already working before I even met him. I was already doing a Broadway show. Yep. I was already playing guitar in studios. So we were on different paths at the same time. We would run into people from Jersey we knew, and I got that one phone call. I happened to be available.
The one phone call.
Believe me, if I didn't get that phone call and someone else got it, somebody else would be doing that gig.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would be the same. You can't always say if, but, maybe.
Yeah, right.
It just happened that way, and I'm grateful for it. I'm fortunate, I'm glad that it's lasted this long.
Yep.
And I think it can last a long time because all of us love doing it.
Yeah.
We don't pull up at 10 minutes to 4 and get in our car at 6 o'clock and go home.
Yeah. I can tell you guys love it. I was there.
You got to come over.
I've gone many times.
I've never seen you there.
I'm going to tell you a funny story. I love going to Conan because I keep going like, eventually I'm going to be on Conan. So I want to keep going. So when I go there, there's no mystery. It'll be like second hat to me.
Well, then, somebody's got to go see you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, JP. I'll talk.
JP.
Yeah, we're getting it together. But my thing is, I like to do that. So when I finally get on it, it's second nature, I know. But there's I've gone a few times with Ian Edwards.
Just get on and show your motorcycle.
Yeah, my crash.
This is able to show my accident,
This is a great story, though. About 8 months ago, I was standing next to the band, and Ian Edwards was doing stand-up, and I never forgot it. He did the Martin Luther King joke. The guy that assassinated, and he says, I know that Jesse Jackson doesn't mean anything because the assassinator had a perfect shot at him and just put his gun away.
He just didn't shoot him.
I watched your whole band explode into laughter, and I was dying because
it's that nervous laughter.
Yeah, you guys are.
It's true.
And also, I couldn't believe the joke was going off. Like, oh my God, they approved this one. Yeah. And I watched all you guys, and you guys were dying.
Well, that certain amount of shock is needed in comedy.
Yeah. Yep.
It can't be.
Safe.
Like a lobotomized.
Yeah, boring, safe comedy.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Conan. They let it get edgy.
It has to. It has to. But in a suit.
Yeah, totally.
We're wearing suits.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing. I don't wear a fucking suit.
Yeah,
that's a character I play on TV.
Yeah.
And people see me, goes, "Where's your suit, man?"
Oh yeah, right.
My suit's sitting in my dressing room.
Hanging it's up. At work.
It's at work where
yeah,
it
that's my uniform, bitch. Before I cut you loose here, let's talk a little gear. I saw you. Ray Manzarek was on last week.
No.
Robbie Krieger.
Yeah.
Sorry, and
we had our SGs out.
Yeah, you had your SGs. SG being one of my favorite. But do you got a Pelham Blue SG?
Like Jackie's.
Yeah, I saw you.
But mine has the
other style.
Has a Bigsby horseshoe vibrato. Jackie's I took the old thing off. It was no good.
Right.
I couldn't deal with it. You
right.
know?
How many guitars you got?
Less than I used to.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I just unloaded another 9 because if I look at a guitar and go, I haven't played that in 5 years, I just get rid of it.
Yeah. Where do you go, Norm's?
Somebody else should. No, I don't go to Norm. I have a friend in Jersey that does it for me.
Wow.
Because Norm, if I paid a lot of money for a guitar from Norm, he's not going to give me a lot of money back.
Yeah. You know what he does
he's
now,
in
though?
business to be in business.
No, but he does now. You know why? Because
he is the best.
They keep going up, you know?
But Norm is if you want a piece.
There's no one better.
Norm is like Sotheby's, man.
There's no one better.
That's where you get the real crap. There's
right.
no bullshit with Norm stuff.
Yeah.
No issues, as we say.
That's right. Yeah.
You know,
no issues.
no
I love
issues.
that. No change tuners.
Yeah, that's right.
No change
if
pots.
there are, Norm will tell you. You know.
Yeah.
And they're great there.
What's the
the Marcus and you see, man, those cats are.
Oh, they're unbelievable. I've been going there for
Yeah.
15, 20 years, you know?
Yeah.
What's your best guitar? You got a 59 Paul or 58 or anything?
My favorite is my 53, believe it or not.
53.
53 wraparound tailpiece, 2P90s. And
Oh,
my
yeah.
59,
Like a special?
No, it's a standard.
Oh,
it's like Freddie King's, you know?
Wait, 53?
Yeah, end of 53, they put that wraparound.
Right,
on.
yep.
They took that trapeze thing off.
Of course, yeah. Oh, the gold top.
Gold top.
Yeah, I got you. I know what you're
And
talking
then
about.
my
Yeah.
second
I had a
favorite-
54. I love it.
Yeah.
P90s,
Perfect.
wraparound.
And the
Unbelievable
59,
guitar.
I have a red 59 custom, 3 pickup custom with 2 double whites in it. In the
Wow.
middle's a black no AF sticker.
Red 59, like refinished?
It's red. I don't know.
Yeah, right. They were
There's
black,
a couple
right?
red ones made.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
It's red.
Wow.
Might have been. I don't know if it was factory refin. Maybe you know.
You got any
Guys
flying
used to send
V's
them
or
back.
anything?
No, I used to, but not the real ones.
Yeah.
I had some reissues. You know, I'm not a collector.
Yep.
I'm a player.
Yeah.
My Les Paul, my 59 Tele is like my favorite. Maybe
Slap
my
board?
yeah.
Unbelievable clay
maybe
dots.
my favorite guitar.
I love 59.
5960. The logos on the serial numbers on the bottom.
Yep.
Of the,
Also, it's a wider fretboard.
yeah, it's a wider fretboard.
And it's,
it belonged
rosewood.
to Ray Pullman from the Wrecking Crew.
Wow.
And it's on Out of Limits by the Marquettes.
No
that
shit.
Guitar, yeah.
What's
And that's my favorite guitar.
What about amps?
Since I got to California,
Yep.
I acquired Black Face
Deluxe.
Pro
Oh, Pro
Reverb.
Oh, yeah.
A Blackface twin reverb, both 64.
Super loud amps.
Blackface, a Blackface 210 Vibrolux.
Yeah, great amp.
64.
Yeah.
I
think that's the best.
a recovered 59 Bassman.
Wow.
Recovered in black Tolux that says Crazy Horse number 7 on the side.
What?
Yeah.
No tweet on that, huh?
It's one of the Crazy Horse amps.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, well, they used to do that, man.
Yeah.
I think maybe I like to believe it was Danny Whitten's amp. You know?
Oh my God! Right,
me.
tonight's the night.
It's just me saying it's Danny's amp. You know, it's not Neil's, because if it was Neil's, he would know.
Yeah, and he would
take
still
it back
have it
from me.
Yeah. Wow.
Could have been Nils's even when he was playing with
Yeah,
them.
he played on that
Or it
Tonight's
could
the
have been
Night.
the one that they used for Spooner used for piano. You know?
Yeah, right.
You never know what it was, or it just was one of the rehearsal amps.
Yeah.
Anyway, that amp is fantastic, you know. And then now the new Magnatone I have, the Twilighter that they lent me.
Oh yeah, I saw that thing.
It's
Yeah.
great, and I have a new hand wired orange.
Oh, those are great.
This is a new thing now.
Yeah,
They started making
point-to-point hand wire, yeah.
oranges.
Yeah.
This is a combo. They also make it in a head. you know?
Yeah, I saw the combo.
It's
I was
really
at the
good.
NAMM show. It's so
really,
good.
I have that and the Twilighter going now at the same time.
Well, and how do you guys? You got the shit in front of the cases in front of the drummers and stuff like that, like for volume.
No, we just play loud. We don't give a
You just
shit.
play loud. Wow, that's dope.
Yeah, we do. We just
Yeah.
play. And I also have like a couple of those new EC Fenders, the
Oh, yeah.
amplifiers.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Twin Deluxes. I have 2 of those.
Wow.
Because they were so good, I liked them so much. I said I better get 2 of these because they're going to be gone.
Yeah,
They're not
that's
gonna
how
be-
they are.
Yeah, they're going to be gone.
Fender 8 years ago made those point-to-point
Yeah.
cream amps. Remember
Yeah.
those?
And those little
the
Princetons.
Tremolux. Remember those?
How about those hot rod Princetons?
The shit was dope.
that were like I used to see them at True Tone Music. They were
Yeah.
hot, they were like seafoam green.
I love that stuff.
Princeton's,
They
you know?
make them and then they're gone. You know.
Yeah.
I think Matchless started it all off back then. You know,
because I had Matchless and Bad Cat.
yeah,
and,
Bad Cat. Well, then Mark Sampson had
yeah.
Bad Cat.
And then Cesar Diaz made me amps, and I
Wow.
still have I have a Bassman that's Caesar modified. Still,
Wow.
you know, and I've tried everything and anything.
Yeah.
Voxes.
Oh, I love the AC-15.
Yeah, I
The
have
tan one.
two of those 10 AC-15s.
Oh, great amp.
And I have a hand for Fab Four. I use a hand wired AC-30.
Yeah.
head and bottom, you know, and there's another 30 guitars there, you know, with them of mine.
Fab Four. So you guys play. How much do you guys play?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we do 20, 30 dates a year, you know. Will now is not, the Letterman show's over. So when we started it, Will and I lived in the same building in New York on 8th Street in Mercer.
Oh, Will's in the band?
Yeah, and Will would come home and we'd be on the elevator together, and he would say, hey, let's start a Beatle band. Then the door would open and I would get off on my floor and he would go 3 more floors. I was on like 27. He was on like, 30, something
Right.
like that. And I say, yeah, sure. I'll see you.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And when were we going to start that Beatle band? I said, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
And then I would leave. Finally, he says, come up to my apartment. And there's 4, 3 other guys and him. There's 4 of them are up there. And he says, okay, so we're starting. I said, are you kidding? He goes, yeah, these are the guys. I said, okay. He said, well, let's see if we can sing. I said, I'll tell you what. If we can put Because together from Abbey Road. He said, okay. Well, who plays? And I said, well, give me the music and I'll play the harpsichord part. And then Frank, one of the other guitar players, was dishing out vocal part. He was a vocal genius.
Yeah.
Like Brian Wilson, just we dishing out parts to each guy.
Crazy.
And then we learned him and we sang it. We worked all night on it and we got it. And we said, that's it. We have a band.
Wow.
If we can do that, we know we can rock and we know we can all play.
Totally.
If we can sing, then we can do it because this is what it takes. They were the great vocal band. Unbelievable. So that's been going on 17 years.
Wow.
Now. Yeah.
17. And what eras do you play?
Almost 3 times longer than they were together.
Holy shit.
We're short of doing 3 songs.
Short
Of the whole catalog.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. It's a pretty impressive body of work to be able to draw from, and I've learned so much about recording, engineering, singing, playing, arranging, from going head into those records.
Yeah,
there's not a better band that changed music, religion, fashion, philosophy, use of drugs, just everything about the world. Than that band.
Well, they were fucking...
Yeah, anyone that denies it and says they don't like the Beatles is, as Howlin' Wolf said, you wrong.
Well, it's funny because I'm not a big Beatles man, right?
Yeah. Mark Maron, you're wrong.
Well, I'm not a big Beatles guy either. But, let's say...
There's stuff you like, though.
Oh, yeah. There's no way I would be like, yeah. But, man, a couple weeks ago, I was at the Chateau Marmont. They've got a turntable there, and there was Abbey Road.
Yeah.
So I'm DJing for the...
and Come Together comes on. You're like...
Oh, well, that whole record, you put it on, you just go like... Holy smokes, man.
You don't have to like everything to appreciate it.
Exactly. I just like the drug era.
Well, when we started, right, the point was... And we all agreed on this one point. We will start playing the music they never played live.
That's great.
So we started at Rubber Soul. And went forward.
Oh, that's great.
And learned everything that they never played. And that being a big... Once we accomplished that, we said, okay, now we're going to go backwards. And we started having fun.
Yeah. Realizing
that there was just as much put into the first record as the last record.
Yeah.
If you consider the times they were made.
Yeah.
There was some really, really fine... George Martin was the 5th Beatle.
That's incredible, that guy, right? Yeah. I mean, you're really looking at revolutionizing recording bands, all the shit they did. And we're talking about 4-track and everything they had to do to do it.
And we got to work with Jeff Emmerich. We re-recorded for a college... recording class. They came up and we re-recorded... we recorded And Your Bird Can Sing.
Wow.
And one other one, Hey Bulldog. Those 2.
Wow.
With Jeff Emmerich at the board, showing the class. The use of the compressors and the use of...
That's crazy.
And and he would keep coming out, Jeff saying, Ringo he would say to Rich, play the kick drum harder. Ringo had the heaviest foot ever in the studio.
No shit, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, and when you really think about it, they were a band. People always try to pull them apart. You can't take each guy out of a band and say...
I love when they say that. Like,
Ringo's no good. George wasn't a great guitar player. Bullshit.
Bullshit. George was a god.
Bullshit. He was a great guitar player. And Paul was a great guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
And so was John,
Yeah.
And they revolutionized the shit along with the Beach Boys.
Yep.
Kind of on that same path and different roads, sort of... checking each other out constantly.
Yeah.
I think there was a Brian Wilson, Paul McCartney competition.
Yeah.
That was healthy.
Songwriting was fucking next level.
Yeah.
Like, I just saw recently the Beach Boys film,
Oh, yeah. I want to see that.
Man.
Yeah.
And, you just immediately go crazy over Pet Sounds, Like, those fucking songs, they're so dark and badass and so much depth and layers,
Yeah, I just wasn't made for these times. That's like...
it's just crazy, man.
Well, all of that, yeah.
Dude, I'm glad I had you on, man. It's such a I could talk.
Yeah.
I love you because we could talk music for fucking hours,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I hope nobody's bored with us.
No. People love music talk, you know.
Well,
and,
you know, it's great that that I know how many. You know, I just put a picture up with my harmony. You know,
Yeah.
Rocket.
Yep.
And I got like 180 hits on it right away on Instagram. I said, "Oh, people like this shit.
They do.
People like to see guitars.
They love to see
guitar
guitars.
players like to.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. I love guitars more than anything, man, because they, to me, represent the ultimate rock and roll tool.
Yeah.
It's ground zero. The 59 Les Paul to me destroys me.
Yeah.
It hurts me so fucking bad. And also a 52 Esquire, butterscotch,
Yeah, yeah.
one pickup rock and roll machine.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, and that's why my junior,
Yeah, the
57
same thing.
junior, and I'm like, that's,
just P90s, the way you can work a volume
Yeah,
knob,
and the
have it
tone,
on
too.
7, and then roll it
and
up in the
clean
dirt.
up, funky clean.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Guitars are amazing.
Yeah. And
They
you know
really
what
are.
the best guitar is, really?
Yeah.
The one you don't have.
That's always it. Yeah. You know,
Guys, I want that one.
all my friends used to clown me because I'd get a new one every 5 months, and they go, let me guess, best guitar ever, huh?
Well,
you know,
for now.
for now. And
Some people do that with girlfriends.
Yeah, right? I feel guitars. I truly could feel this, and this is how weird I am. I would go into a guitar store, I'd pick a guitar off, and I'd play a few different ones, and all of a sudden a song would come out of one. I go, this is the one, and I would buy it, and like 5, 6, maybe 10, 20 songs would come out of
Yeah.
it, and then the song
It's done.
It's done. And I swear, and it'd be like, okay.
It's the red violin. Man.
They brought me
Yeah,
they
it's
brought me the
fucking-
songs.
yeah, it's the
Thank
red
you.
violin.
There you go, man.
No, but there's something to that.
So I believe
because
it.
when a songwriter, it's rudimentary, has piano chops and sits down at the piano.
Yeah.
Like a John Lennon or Neil Young, they're not like great piano players.
Yeah.
But they write the greatest song on the piano.
Yeah, they do,
You know?
because it's sparse and you
Yeah.
can really get into melody of
Yeah,
the and
even
the lyrics.
Dylan wrote
Yeah.
so many things on piano.
Absolutely, absolutely.
A lot of songs you hear the demos are on piano. You go, oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
What's your Instagram?
Jimmy V Music
Okay, and then you got a Twitter, same thing.
at Jimmy V Music. Yeah.
And then of course, when's the Beatles thing? In
Oh yeah, we're playing the Cal State Northridge on. This is a funny show too because it's not normal for us. On the 17th of October, we're playing in one set. We're playing the Hollywood Bowl and Dodger Stadium shows.
Whoa.
Yeah, all the songs. Now,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
not doing the show.
I get you, I
We're
get
not
you.
going, oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
jolly to be here in L.A.
Oh, mate, oh.
None of that bullshit. We're
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
the songs
Yeah.
the way we play them,
Yeah.
which is Beatle-like.
Yeah.
You know, like without the screaming, hopefully.
What guitar are you playing in the Beatle band?
Which guitars?
Which guy?
Which guitars? What song? Name
I
a song.
I'm just wondering, dude.
I have a-
because he played Strat mostly, and
I
then
have
the Gretsch, right?
2 Strats, one Sonic Blue and one Painted Rocky.
Oh, I love Sonic
I
Blue.
have a red Lucy Les Paul with
Wow.
the seam
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I have a 57 Duo Jet like George's.
Wow.
A
Orange?
Tennessean. No, it's black.
Oh, it's black.
A Tennessean and a Country Gent.
Wow.
And a Futurama, which he played in.
Yeah.
Which he played in Hamburg.
Yeah.
I have a Rickenbacker 325. I have a Rickenbacker 12 string.
Whatever the era is, you play
Yeah,
it. Wow,
yeah.
that is dope.
Texan
Yeah.
and J160E.
Epiphone Texan?
Yeah, and 2 Epiphone Casinos.
Oh, Casino's great,
yeah,
right?
one like Paul's with a paddle headstock and a with a big
Yeah.
speed. And then one a blonde one like
I love the blonde one.
the blonde elitist,
John
yeah,
Lennon.
like John's. And,
Oh. That just whenever
and
I
you know
see
what? And an SG, of course.
Yeah,
and
of course.
that one SG like George's, and that may be and a nylon string, which I need for certain things. You know.
Wow.
And 2 sitars.
Wow. You play the sitar?
Yeah, a Ricky Ram, and like George had.
Yeah.
I found one just like his,
Wow.
and then another one that I got in New York, and I have a third one I keep at work at Conan because you got to stay sharp on it. If you got it, you got to pick it up now.
Yeah. You just play it
Well,
like
you
in
know,
your dressing room or
because
something?
Will, when Will Lee, who's like just to me one of the greatest musicians in the world,
Yeah.
says, if I can play bass on Paperback Writer and sing it, then you can play sitar.
Wow. Wow.
So get it, and I did. I got it, and I said, shit, I'm going to learn to do this.
What are those guys doing now? Like Anton Fig and Will?
Well, Anton's touring with Bonanza because he plays on all the records
wow.
anyway.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
right
great.
away. He's into it. Will started the minute Will got out.
Yeah.
He took every gig he's been turning down for 30 years.
Yeah,
he's
right.
working more than ever.
Wow.
Started working on an Alicia Keys album right away. He's always in the studio. Now he just was out here at Monterey Jazz Festival. He's over in Europe and Japan.
Oh, shit.
And then back here.
That's amazing.
And probably going to live out here for the winter,
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Which
You
would be
like
great.
L.A. a lot?
I love L.A.
Yeah, it's great, right? You were in...
I still have a Brooklyn Dodgers hat on.
Yeah,
but,
that's all right. You were
okay.
in New York your whole life. You've been here 6 years. What neighborhood you in?
I'm in Toluca Lake, Burbank.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Border, so I can be
Close
like
to
half
the
a
studio.
mile from work.
Oh, that's great.
But I come up here and I drive up here to your place and I go, oh shit, I don't know how to live. But how do you have a drink and drive home here?
I
Uber.
Yeah, it's like $4 or
It's
something. Uber.
windy in here. I guess you get used to it.
Yeah, you do.
But people are so nice. Like a guy pulls over as I'm coming up, you know, and
yeah.
I said, I don't know how to do that. You
Yeah.
know, there's really not room for two cars.
There's not, man. It's crazy. And this is wider than Laurel Canyon. Those streets like Kirkwood and shit,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
undrivable.
I know it is, but you're not far from the sign, right?
I'm close to the sign. It's right behind us.
I like it though. When I come up into these little hill places, I say this is good, but I have like a really low standard of living from living in New York. Like anything's good.
Yeah.
So the things I needed where I live are there.
Yeah.
A 24-hour Vons
There
that I
you
can
go.
walk to.
Yeah.
Cleaners, Dana Drugs, a Japanese restaurant and a French restaurant, Italian restaurant. Sardo's, which has
Sardo's, yeah.
Used to have porn star karaoke, but
They don't do that anymore?
I don't know.
I think they do Tuesdays.
Yeah.
They used to do comedy
It's
there.
such a hole. It's great.
Yeah, right?
It's a real, just a stink pit.
You
man.
go to that 24-hour dry cleaner there on the corner.
Oh yeah,
there?
those guys, Milton Eddy.
Yeah, what happened to those guys? They're open all
Milton
night.
Eddy, or is it Milton Eddy?
It's like,
Whatever
have you
they are.
murdered someone and need to
You know
get blood
why?
out of your
You know why
uniform?
they're open all night? Because the studios are
Yeah,
bringing
that's right.
stuff over there
That's
all
right.
night long.
That's
man.
crazy.
But I use Flair, which is right by me, and then there's a Starbucks.
Yeah, that one.
Used to be a Blockbuster, but there's no more videos.
Yeah.
so.
I'm going to come over and hang with you at the Conan.
Yeah, come over.
Yeah, I'll come over in a couple
Come
weeks
over.
or something.
Yeah. Take your bike.
Oh, fuck.
You don't have a bike now.
Yeah, it's
Are you
destroyed.
waiting for a new one? What was it?
92 FXR
Oh,
Harley.
fuck,
It was cherry. It was dream bike.
I'm glad you don't have a rice burner, man.
Oh
because
no, I
just
never
would
did that shit.
You know,
I never got into
sucking
that.
power.
I was just more into just fucking,
Well, when I lived on 8th Street, though, there were those racing bikes.
Yeah.
And they would go up 30 floors. They'd be loud as hell. I mean, there'd be 10 guys going down to 8th Street, with chicks on the back with their butts hanging out. And it was a big thing in New York.
Hell
And,
yeah.
I don't know
totally.
now anymore.
It's like that hip hop era
Yeah,
where
it was
guys
the
are
hip-hop bikers,
Yeah.
man.
Hey,
And-
Louis rode and he got fucking hit, man.
Yeah.
I heard him talk about it, like I guess in the 90s or whatever,
Yeah.
or maybe 80s. He got fucking smacked.
in New York, right?
Yeah.
It's impossible to ride in New
Yeah,
York.
that's why it's so crazy. That's why I always said, I could never live in New York because I'm addicted to riding, and now I'm like, maybe I could live in New York.
It's not a good place to ride.
It's
not even
not.
a good place to ride a bicycle.
No, not at all. It's fucking
It's even
brutal
more
dangerous.
man. But here it's cool. And I have a lot of friends that ride. I'm too old to start now on my hands.
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
I hear
and I
you.
see you fall, and you put that horrible picture up.
Oh yeah, I did that for you. I knew you wanted to see softball ankle.
You get that feeling down here.
Yeah, right.
In your balls.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, thanks.
I love
It
you, man.
worked.
You're
It
great.
worked.
You're a great man. And I'll have you back on. Will you come
right,
back
brother.
on? We'll pick some era of music and we'll fucking talk the shit out of
Yeah,
it.
we should just we should play records while we talk.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Whether they sound good or not, who cares?
Yeah. In the background. We're
In
like,
the
can you hear
background.
that?
It'll be like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, there you go. All right, man. Thanks for coming by. There you guys go. Right
Hit
on.
stop.
Yeah.